Today we are going to continue talking about text structure, the way text is set up. I want to do a super fast review of the ways that we have talked about so far. If you remember, chronological was that word that meant it was arranged in order of time. This is how most of our stories are arranged in time order. Definitely when you come in and say, let me tell you about my weekend, you don't start at the end and work backwards. You usually start at the beginning and work ahead. We talked about how even nursery rhymes are set up in chronological order. And with the exception of Holes that jumps back and forth and has some flashbacks, um, the stories we've read for read aloud have been told in order of time. Um, then we talked about cause and effect, and that's when you have an action and the results of that action that are explained. So, for instance, we can say, because that indicates this is the cause. Because students did not learn the material, they performed poorly on the test. So, the effect of them not learning or not studying is that they did bad on their test. So, cause and effect doesn't have a beginning, a middle, and an end. It talks about one action and the resulting reaction. Then we talked about compare and contrast, which we learned is looking for similarities when we compare and differences when we contrast. And we took two objects. You can take two books, two characters, two themes, two anything, and tell how they're alike and how they're different. And then you're comparing and contrasting. Um, we're talking about today, problem and solution. In cause and effect, you just have one thing that affects another thing. Problem and solution is they have partners, they have two pieces that come together just like cause and effect, but it's always going to be presented as a problem and then the answer to that problem or a way you can solve or fix that problem. So it's going to look a little different than cause and effect. So in the problem solution articles, you're given a problem, and then you may have more than one answer even being suggested for how to fix the problem. So let's say we're reading an article and it's talking about how the property in town is being spray painted. Like people are coming by and just randomly doing graffiti on the walls, and it's private property, so that or it belongs to the town. So they shouldn't be doing that, right? So I one solution would be, okay, well, if you're going to buy spray paint, you have to have a license to do that. Okay, that is a solution. I don't think it's a good solution because people use spray paint for arts and crafts projects all the time. Should I have to have a license to paint something that goes up in my own house? That seems a little weird, right? So I wanted to use this to make sure you understood that the problem solution text structure doesn't have to be a solution you agree with. It's simply that we were given a problem and then solutions were offered to that problem. Again, don't confuse it with cause and effect. It's going to be very different in that it's going to be presented as, hey, there's this problem that we're going to have to fix. Today I'm going to give you some problems, some passages that give you problems and possible solutions. Look at the directions here for your problem solution practice. It says read each paragraph, and the paragraphs are pretty short. This is not a um, activity that I'm using to test your stamina, okay? Read each paragraph. After you read, answer the questions that follow. You're going to have two questions for every paragraph. Each paragraph will ask for the problem and the solution. And because it's only two simple questions, this isn't a multiple choice kind of activity. You're going to have to type a sentence. And I'm going to be giving you a grade based on whether your sentence is a complete sentence and if it answers the questions correctly. We're going to do one together so that I can show you. The first question says, type your name. That one does not have to be in complete sentences, obviously, but I do expect capital letters at the beginning of both your first and your last name. Now, if your name is Robert and you go by Bob. Type what you go by, what I know you by, okay? All right, look at your first paragraph. John didn't know what to take to school for show and tell. He asked his mother for an idea. She suggested he take the ribbon his dog won at the pet parade. So your question is, what is the problem in the text above? So I'm going to answer this in a complete sentence, and I'm going to say the problem is that John didn't know what to take to school for show and tell. Ladies and gentlemen, if you would look at this first sentence, John didn't know what to take to school for show and tell. I simply added, the problem is that John didn't know what to take to school for show and tell. How many of those words should I have spelled incorrectly? And not because I'm 46 years old and not because I'm a teacher, but because it's written in the box right above where I'm typing. So if I didn't know how to spell a word, it's right there. I need to copy it from there. Please notice that I put a period at the end of the sentence. Please notice that I started the sentence with a capital letter. And most importantly, please notice that my sentence expresses a complete thought. The problem is that John didn't know what to take to school for show and tell. Your next question says, what is the solution to the problem in the text above? Okay, the solution is that he should take the ribbon his dog won at the pet parade. Did you see that I spelled parade incorrectly and went back and fixed it? It's possible. Notice that it ends with a period. Notice that it begins with a capital letter. Notice that all I added was the solution is that he should, and then I started copying from here. Take the ribbon his dog won at the pet parade. The solution is that he should take the ribbon his dog won at the pet parade. Complete sentence, complete thought. If you do what I just did for all 4 of your paragraphs today, you will easily get 25 points per paragraph. 12 for the problem, 13 for the solution. I'm going to read through the paragraphs with you, and then I'm going to be done and let you do the other 2 yourself. The other 3 yourself. Emily knew she had to get to school on time, but her mother said she couldn't drive her. Emily decided to leave early and walk to school. I need the problem and the solution in complete sentences. Mrs. Anderson wanted a fresh pineapple for her cake. The store near her did not have any fresh ones, so she went to another store and bought it there. I need the problem and the solution in complete sentences. Robert was afraid the flooding river would reach his home. His parents were away, and he was watching with his little sister. He saddled his horse, and he and his sister rode to the top of the hill. I need the problem and the solution, and I need you to click submit. And if you absolutely have any questions about how to do this, how to write the sentence correctly, how to identify the problem or identify the solution, you should ask me. I am here to help you. I won't waste any more of your time because I think this is a quick review. But again, I want to help if you're confused, and I will give you more instruction if you need it, okay? All right, go show me what you know.